Hello, hello. We're back.
Hello. Your favorite people and also me.
You're one of the favorite people. Shut up. It's my stream. Hi. Hi, Neat. Hello. As stated, congrats on first, Neat. Congrats on second, Rain. And thank you for the shove, Ishi. All this on the starting student screen, and I had to type. But yes, so for this, it'll just be the four of us here, so it'll be a relatively shorter stream this time, I'm thinking, unless we get to talking in more ways than one on what all's been going on with the world building and the like. But we shall see.
With us, that's a non-zero chance.
Alrighty. So, all things considered, I do have something that I can share because, no, we're not fighting to the death, Neat. We're too friendly for that.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, besides, I'd obviously win.
Well, you are the min-maxer of the group. Dang, yeah. Sorry, we're on stream for Fight to the Death. Also, thank you for the follow, Neat, again. But yes. So who... Because I know Sass has been working on a whole bunch of stuff for his. And I know, Dan, you were starting to work on a second, nation.
Indeed. I haven't done as much with it as I would have liked, but I have, started work on it. So I can at least go into, prototyping phases.
Right. And I believe, Doc, you said you've been busy, so you haven't prepared anything, correct?
Correct. I have, I had a major test last week. And then the rest of the week kind of went real shitty, so I just...
Understandable.
Yeah.
Been there.
Yep. So then, which of the three of us want to go first?
Oh. Crickets are out tonight.
Yep. That usually means Dan goes first.
Or we could just do a roll-off.
True.
Hi, Sky! Welcome in. Congrats on third.
Set the parameters first.
D20, highest to lowest.
Sounds good.
Alright, 13 on my end.
13 on my end.
Of all the time to share a brain cell, now is not the time.
My lucky number.
Alright, so we have to roll again, Dan. But Sass is going first. I'm going second.
I go last.
And then Dan goes last.
Up yours.
Oh, shoot, I forgot to upgrade my specs, as well as forget to ask my dad about what. I'm sorry. I'll work on that after stream. But first things first. Sass, you're first. Congratulations.
Alright. Yep. Let me just grab the notebook. There we go. So, rather than go over the Tyrant Conclave, I'm going to be going over because I have been also working on a second species. Actually, not even second species, second system.
Yep.
If anyone's gonna go overkill, it's us.
So currently what I've got is a system with 3 planets within the habitable zone. I say planets, but in reality it's really only 1 large planet and then 2 very large moons with it. So, in that, for let's kind of get started with the largest planet. It is a complete aquatic planet. All of the land is buried underneath miles of ocean. The interesting thing with it is the fact that you'd think that with a planet that has 2 very large moons, the tides would recede quite a bit, but, well, no. For the water world itself, much of it is unknown to outsiders. Even planetary, like full planetary scans, have trouble actually looking down into the planet itself, which works very, very well considering that the inhabitants of the inhabitants of this particular planet tend to be a little bit more on the what's a good way to put it? Shifting side of things. Yes, this is a planet made entirely of were creatures. More specifically, the main planet is home to aquatic were creatures. Were sharks, were octopi, were squid, were kraken.
Where did you come up with this?
Where do you think?
I'm gonna kill both of you.
I'm easy Subnautica.
But it's primary. It's like so. The civilization is, of course, entirely underwater. Now, thanks to the fact that it's orbited by 2 moons, that tends to help a little bit to keep the water levels very, very high. As such, the pressure on this planet is still also fairly high, considering the atmosphere's underneath the water. So it breeds creatures that are particularly, I would say they're particularly strong. They're much more hardy than most other animals. At least the ones in more habitable, normal zones of the ocean. They tend to, those creatures tend to be like your were sharks and things like that. Much more, they're fairly strong, not really much of a magic presence. They're much more interested in their own tribalistic, they're focusing on their tribalistic ancestor worship, things like that. Best way to describe it, best way to kind of think of it is and I'm going to butcher the name. Well, instead of butchering the name, I'm just going to kind of think of it like the South Pacific Islands themselves. Much more of that kind of society within. That's all I really have for the water planet itself.
Before you go on, we have a question from chat.
Alright.
Will they expand like blobfish if removed from the pressure? Or is it a pressure on a lesser degree?
That's the next part I'm going to get to. The really deep sea were creatures. That would be, again, where squid, where eel, where anglerfish, all that stuff. They very much are like a blobfish. If they come out of the depths without specialized equipment, they will basically kind of collapse in on themselves.
I see.
Okay, so how did the human part of this were-have thing survive under the water during, like, times when they're not shifted? Because if it's enough to to properly pressurize a creature, it's also enough pressure to, like, probably pop a human skull open.
True, if it's like true. However, I never said that they were human.
Fair enough.
They are humanoid when they are not in their were form, I guess you could call it. But because of the way that the water pressure would affect them, they are. They're much more. I guess they'd be more similar to Undine and other aquatic humanoids.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So a little more fish-like than the usual, a little more fish-like than the usual Innsmouth person.
Fair enough.
Now, on the smaller of the two moons... Okay, so on the smaller of the two moons, it has a much farther orbit. And thus falls a little bit more easily into the habitable zone of planets. However, thanks to the fact that they are orbiting a red giant, their days tend to be bombarded with low-level solar radiation, and it has the tendency to turn the sky a very deep red color. The species on this planet, being it's a high gravity, it's like being the fact that it is, even with its small size, the core being much more dense than our usual rock and soil, does tend to give it a decent amount of gravity. Think as if a planetoid the size of, let's say, the moon, Earth's moon, had the same gravity as probably the same gravity as Mars, slightly heavier than Earth's gravity. Now, on this planetoid, this is where creatures have evolved. Instead of instead of being carnivoric race, they actually are a sanguinary race. They get most of their sustenance from drinking blood.
Would you say all they need is blood?
No.
Damn, I was making a reference.
No, the dietary requirements for the race, while it does say it does consist of blood, it's basically they require high levels of iron in order to transport oxygen through their system.
How far away can the were sharks smell blood in the water?
Up to 200 kilometers.
Interesting.
Now, on this planet is where is this? It's like the planet that houses the sanguinaries, as they kind of became called, or at least the working title for them is. That's the planet that most people, when they come to the system, would actually stay and be around. They're primarily, since they are more humanoid in appearance, it's much easier to actually have a dialogue rather than trying to translate from shark to human, or even worse, whale to human.
Whale, it's the big show. Hoped you would appreciate that one, Sal.
I did.
So in doing this, for them, they're very much more of like the diplomats and the first contact for people. It's like for this particular race. As they find it just to be easier to deal with quote unquote normal things rather than trying to work out the translations for the various other species.
I zoned out for a second. Who sent us the first diplomats?
That would be folks living on the on the smallest moon.
Ah, okay.
Now, with them, they're very much more of a habitable, but very also kind of still in the feudal, kind of still have a feudal society. They still have their lords, and it's like they have their lords, ladies, and their own fiefdoms within the society itself.
See. So the correct response to that is nukes. Clearly.
I'll go into. I won't. It's like for that one, I don't have really much detail exactly. The biological side of things. As for the most part, actually, drinking blood usually is meant for insects or creatures that do not need a high amount of vitamins or really anything to actually survive. Or they live very short lifespans.
Yes.
for
Well,
that.
that's an important question. Zell, how is your universe on nukes? Because if they've developed faster than light travel, they've definitely developed something probably worse than nukes.
Faster than light nukes.
Gosh.
So how have not multiple planets not already ended up in craters as craters?
There's probably quite a few kind of areas, because since it's a big galaxy and it's been around for a while, I'd say that there are some civilizations that have been reduced to basically craters.
Interesting.
I'm trying to remember, it was both a scientific and philosophical paper out there and I can't remember the thing on it, but I remember it was basically like, even if 1% of the stars in the Milky Way galaxy have one planet that can support life on it, I think it still comes out to like a couple 100,000 planets in the galaxy that could support life. So I would. Yep. So I would hazard to guess that if there were, it's like that there probably are at least, I would say probably at least half, maybe 3/4 of those planets would be basically blown up at some point in their history.
In that case, what has stopped the Obsidians from trying to nuke the blazes out of existence?
Maybe they have.
Or maybe
Remember
they've tried at the very least, because I remember that there is a subsect of blazes that are literally just full-on just shields are my specialty. You're not touching this fucking planet. Fuck you.
It could very well be how that particular group kind of formed. Maybe they found. It's like maybe they found out. It's like maybe they were like, oh, so back in antiquity, they actually dropped nukes on planets, like a lot of nukes, cracked planets open to try and get at us. We should probably develop a shield system.
Like, way too many nukes.
Yeah.
A discerning number of nukes.
A gentlemanly amount of nukes.
Indeed.
Hmm. But yes, so they've tried, but each and every single time there's been a shield guarding said planets.
Okay. So they have developed anti-nuke technology and big enough shields that the sheer fallout won't just kill the planet anyway.
Well, if the shield goes around the planet itself, most of the fallout would be kind of just sent out into space.
Yes, at which point it would be fine, because most planets have an EM barrier to protect them from radiation.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember, this is the kind of thing you need to think about when you make an advanced civilization.
Yeah.
But the last planet that I've got is a moon that actually, due to its orbit, has actually captured a few small asteroids. So, while it does have its usual day-night cycle, a lot of the planet is actually shrouded in night just due to the amount of asteroids they actually have captured.
You see.
There's where it's again, and there's where you'll find your more traditional were creatures, your werewolves, tigers, bears, oh my's.
You see, I see.
Interesting. So they have the diplomat water ones. The water-based ones are the diplomats first, and then the much smaller areas, the asteroids with the actual typical forest creatures.
Basically, yes.
Okay. So, bad luck to the furries. The scalies get to have first crack at you.
No. No, sorry, I think I misspoke. It's not, the aquatic, it's like the aquatic races are actually the ones who, it's like, are not the diplomats. That would be the, well...
Sanguinaries?
It's like, that would be the one, that would be the sanguine. It's like the sanguine. Creatures.
So the ones
they
who drink
are...
your blood are the ones who get to meet you first.
Yes.
Neat.
They get first crack at you.
Interesting.
You see, I see. Very nice. That all you got for now?
For right now.
Alright.
Alright.
Then I
Who rolled
suppose it
higher?
is
Was
my
it Mers
turn.
or so?
It's my turn.
Okay.
Yippee. So mine is basically the enemy, the natural enemy that attacked the Ikarian Republic over and over again. The name is the Zarian Dictatorship. It's the typical species of like water genasi, tritons, sea elves, other aquatic races. Because they are on an oceanic world in the far marches, which is where
The
both of them
Akarians.
yeah. My brain lagged for a minute.
Also-
It was just like bleh.
Question about that. If we're no longer doing 5e, should we still be describing them in 5e terms?
Yes, because it's the easiest way for people to understand them.
Okay, but if we don't do 5e, then
We'll
like,
be making
the
things.
actual distinction between water genasi, triton, sea elf is minimal.
It'll just be Zarians at that point.
Yes.
So it would be a big old clump. But I just put it in 5e terms because, well, it put an image in my head and I'm just like, why not? Until the actual system is fully made.
Understood.
Because we're still waiting on, Patron because, reasons. I'll get into that later.
Okay.
But the Zarian dictatorship is located in the outer sector of the galaxy of Zagretha, known as the Far Marches. Zaris is the capital of said dictatorship. It is an oceanic world with some small island here and there. Most of the civilizations are under the water surface, and for the most part, each of the civilizations that were made kind of stuck to themselves, except to war over what researchers there were. And this race is also more magically inclined than technology inclined. There was a war called the Tsunami, where basically one civilization went out to conquer all of the rest and bring under one banner by Ganora, whose greed was as deep as the ocean of the world itself. And after that, basically that civilization rose to be the ruling class. All the others were forced to serve in a variety of different ways, like being in the military, building, miners, etc., etc., etc. And then eventually years went by, and the Zarians eventually developed space travel and FLT. Mainly in the magic
TL.
area. TL?
FTL, yep.
FTL?
Yeah.
Oh, I spelled that wrong. That was my bad. Thank you for pointing that out.
Faster light than travel.
I still have yet to kind of flesh out how they were able to do it with their magic, but for now it's just the matter that they did it. And then before long, they discovered they weren't alone. On a foray further into the far marches, they discovered a group of people that looked like living flames, settling moons over their home world. And so Ganora III ordered an all-out attack on this nation to take the worlds and moons for themselves. And then that's kind of where
The first war.
the first war with the Republic happened.
Yeah. The
Wait.
first war of the marches.
Much to Ganora III's chagrin, they lost to the Incarians. But with that, the Far Marches were discovered by the rest of the wider galaxy, and both of the Icarian Republic and the Zarian dictatorship joined the galactic community, just on opposing sides. Because this civilization has allied themselves with the Obsidians.
Shocking.
Yep.
I was so sure they were the pirate people that caused everyone to be forced into servitude and were run by a dictator. Were gonna be Blaze people.
I sense the sarcasm.
No offense, I'm joking.
I know.
I don't mean that in like a mean way.
Yeah, I figured if you meant it in a mean way, you'd be saying different things.
Yeah.
I'm just observing the sarcasm. But with that, the Obsidians gifted them more magical and technology knowledge, as well as something else that is not in public records. And then 20 years ago, they launched another attack on the Incarians, hoping to gain another victory after their previous defeat. And then that's, once again, where the Second War happened, and they were pushed back yet again by the general...
They fucked it!
Yeah.
Sorry, couldn't resist.
That fucked it. They were defeated by... Say the name, Dan? Cornelio Vedus?
Legatoy Cornelio Vadius.
Say the line, Mers.
Rome!
And then, since the war has ended, they have entered in an easy truce with the Republic and started to rebuild their strength, as well as entering more trade deals to gain more materials via the Obsidians and their allies. The Zarians deal in soldiers or from their planet rare crystals and jewelry. And the basic concept was this, since Dan was doing a Roman-inspired civilization, I'm like, alright, let's make this one Greek. Just a Greek
It's all Greek to me.
dictatorship. That was the basic concept, and then I just ran with
It's
it.
all Greek to me!
I just thought up another concept.
Oh.
I'll tell you once you're done.
Oh, I'm done. That was it.
Alright, so, I have mentioned my original world. Querl is a high fantasy setting. Default high fantasy, like, very obvious. Or originally was. So that means there were clerics, and if there were clerics, there were gods. So I'm gonna make a new planet in a either the same system or just far away, which is just the place where all the gods retreated to.
Oh. I see. Godly world.
And that'll be fun.
If you don't do something slightly Norse with it, I'm going to be slightly disappointed.
If I do something Norse, and I get something wrong, Chrome will be at my throat.
True.
Do not worry. I will definitely do something with it. Just
Okay.
don't know what yet.
It's just a concept right now, and that is completely fair.
Yep.
Concepts of a plan. Sorry. If you know, you know.
Ooh. I could make this entire place just a huge issue. Where like, cause if, some of the gods are gonna be content to just, be how they are. But like, some gods are gonna wanna do other crap. I'm not sure. Might just make it so the gods just randomly, like the gods themselves are kind of like Fae, and then in that they randomly kidnap beings from other planes to act in their weird fantasy shit. That's what's the point of being a god if there's no mortals to worship you?
Fair point.
You doing Fae shit? Nah, unprecedented.
So
Completely unprecedented.
completely. Chat says Isekai planet.
Yes, the Isekai planet.
Chat gets it.
Except you don't need to die.
True.
That means Truck Gun is out of a job.
And all the other civilizations with the faster than light travel and the ability to potentially reach the planet are also still looking for you. Especially if this becomes a significant enough of a planet.
I do have a question,
Problem.
though. I do have a question, though.
Sure.
Is it... So... You said that this is where the gods retreated to.
Yeah. It retreated, fucked off, abandoned, went out to get milk too. Whatever, the actual interpretation is a bit weird. Some point is, they are originally from Quero, and when the EM shield went down, they decided, yeah, we're gonna go somewhere else. We don't feel like fixing your problems. The people prayed to the gods, and the gods did not answer.
To make a reference that I'm the only one who's gonna get. The wetness of my socks is telling me this probably isn't the best ship.
Yeah, because my thing was going to be like, okay, so the gods retreated here. What were they retreating from? And why are they gods?
Yeah. They basically went out to get milk, but ended up making their own planet with blackjack and hookers.
Fair.
Chat says, hey, if you attach a portal to the front of Truck-kun, it works too.
Very fair.
Retreating from the job vacation
Exactly.
baby.
All the
wait.
jobs are vacation babies.
Wait. So you're basically telling me this is the planet of the isekai?
Hey, the chat already made that joke.
I'm not watching chat.
Zell already pointed out that chat made that joke as well. But
That's what prompted me to make the joke. Anyway.
Basically, the gods kidnap mortals, play with them for a little while, then usually send them back to their own world.
Traumatized.
Probably.
Yeah, as I said, Doc doing something Fae-related, this is completely unprecedented territory we're in, people. Like, you have no idea. He hates doing Fae stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
I have no idea how to manage to get that out with a straight face.
Skill.
Skill, sarcasm. One of the two.
Both.
It's probably more on the side of terminal sarcasm, but...
But I believe it is now Dan's turn.
The moment no one was looking forward to. So, as I said, I don't have all that much. I had less time to work on this than I anticipated. Whoops. And this is going to sound kind of awkward, coming after Sass's idea. But, the thought that I had is basically Persian vampire race. Their homeworld is a very inhospitable desert where oases and water sources very few and far between. And so being on, as life forms evolving on that planet, they evolved to sustain themselves via blood instead of water. And their culture ended up developing into ancient world Persian inspired, very devout monotheistic culture. With a sultan at the head over the entire planet. And they'll probably be more of a neutral race in the overall conflicts. Of course, there'll be independent actors that will fight for either side. But they are generally conquerors. But in the kind of classical way of if you want to join willingly, we won't touch you. Like, you can either join willingly and keep everything the same, and hell, we'll even give you infrastructure. Or you could fight and be turned to blood bags. Dealer's choice.
Yes. Violence and intimidation. We love it.
But that's just kind of the basic, bare bones of what I have in my mind.
That is interesting. And besides, it's not like two different things can come about, so it's not all that awkward after coming up with Sass's thing, because his is drastically different from yours.
Oh, you have too many gods? We ought to do a crusade about it.
I see.
Yeah. The god. I did have a little bit more about the god that they worship.
So, what happens when the equivalent of Alexander the Pretty Alright comes around?
Guess we'll all die. But Makarian hasn't come yet. That's a joke for Sass. Character in 40k called Makarian, who is pretty much literally Space Alexander the Great. But so far that hasn't happened yet. The main export that I was thinking for their planet is mostly like gems and valuable like materials that are natural to their homeworld. As well as mostly craftsmanship.
I see.
They have exceptional artisans.
Artisans.
I know it wasn't much, but
It's okay. I did forewarn that this might be a shorter stream. But yes. All in all,
if your
very
viewers
interesting.
our viewers haven't caught on by now that I'm a complete dork for ancient culture, then I don't know what they've been paying attention to.
I mean, we don't always have the same viewers.
Fair enough.
In fact, new viewer who's actually been chatting with us for like the first time. Oh, did you watch the other streams? Are you familiar?
That is a good question. Neat, have you seen what we've done in the past? Neat says, I figure you all are dorks in some way, shape, or form. And I'm like, true.
Valid point.
They have not.
Oh, okay, we could briefly go over that if we're just killing time.
That's a good idea.
Do you want to hear about the British Catboys? whale leviathan, dead bodies, with the necromancers that worship death, the blazes and the
Even
obsidians,
though
which is like the main
Doctors-
thing. The
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 dragon.
nonsense I'm doing. The reality warpers. They were the ones with the Civil War, right?
I believe so, yes. And I believe
yeah.
it was Ronins.
Mhm.
Take your pick. We got a bunch of them.
This is something that only Sass and I are gonna get. What about the fireproof orphans? That's an inside story for
Oh, there's robots that are trying to find their creator as well.
mm-hmm.
And also Romans, but fire.
Romans with fire. They want to hear about cowboys, apparently. I don't think we have a Wild West inspired thing.
I don't
I think you misheard her. Think you misheard cat boys.
Yeah, cat boys, British cat boys. Sorry.
I've tested a lot of orphans, but I haven't seen any fireproof ones. Well, you... What if you were in D&D? At one point, with Sass's stuff.
The implication that you have tested the orphans for how fireproof they are is wonderful.
Oh no, we haven't just done that. We've actually tested to see exactly how much of an orphan they need to be before they're fireproof too.
Very interesting.
Hello, FBI.
So I will see if I
Who do
can
you think
run
gave
down a
us the
list.
data?
Just real quick. The main one, Zell's lore, is the blazes and the obsidians, basically the ultimate force of good and evil in the world. Then Mers here's he has Roman Empire,
Roman Republic.
Roman Republic inspired stuff.
I got rickrolled.
We have Chrome's lore, which is not ours, so we'd have to just summarize very briefly, which is the robots searching for their creator. There's Sass's lore, which I don't actually remember.
It's a lot.
My lore is basically dragons, but using it's like they're dragons, but using quantum entanglement for their travel and magic.
Okay. There are, as mentioned, British catboy sailors, navymen, that became British catboy star navymen. There is a group of reality warpers that are embedded in Civil War. There is my planet, which is like a high fantasy planet originally that got bombarded with cosmic radiation and is now a horrible irradiated wasteland with everything mutated and destroyed. And there is Daku's lore of a group of necromancers that basically worship at death and believe you have to earn your death, where their entire star system attracts dead carcasses of giant leviathans.
And then there's also the whole thing of being like eldritch horror technology people that go out and conquer shit.
Yeah, whose lore was that?
Chains.
Oh,
Oh, that was Chain
Yeah.
as well. So Chain did...
yeah.
Chains did too.
Okay. So yes, that is the list. And you said robots, correct?
Looks like he wants to hear about. Hearing reality warper triggers a memory in me. Now we're like a fourth of a space crew turned out to have reality warping abilities. Yeah. Oh yeah. Are you talking about the RP server with Brew? Neat. You guys wouldn't get it because you guys weren't a part of it, but I was.
Ah.
Yeah.
But you said robots is your preferred thing to go over, correct?
Man, makes me think of how you weren't able to bend reality in terms of sitting in. Yeah, that was disappointing. And frustrating. Yeah, Neat wants to hear
Okay.
about the robots.
Alright. We should set up a
Unfortunately-
poll. Just, what do you want to hear about in future? Because it's easier than just asking and waiting for a response because of Discord or Twitch lag.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can easily do that in my Discord server that I have for my stream. Just have that in
Nice.
advance.
Yeah.
But yes, alright, so want to hear about the robots. Let me... Whee! Pulling it up so I can speak on it. Come to the fireplace, children. Grandpa's telling stories now. Yep. Alright, so the robot species is created by Chrome, who is not with us right now, so I will read off what we have. His faction is called the Astral Seekers. They are a sapient machine based civilization. They live in the core sector, they're neutral, and they're seekers of lore. I'll start with the history. The Astral Seekers are an ancient sapient machine race that are ever searching for the reason behind their existence in the galaxy. Who are what created them and granted them total autonomy? That is what they have been trying to figure out. They are a rather sizable empire, taking in all manner of other races and the like under their banner with the goal of learning all there is to learn within the galaxy. Some of these people even willingly transfer themselves over to mechanical bodies in order to achieve the ability to learn practically forever. However, they are asked repeatedly if they are sure they wish to do this. The faction is a relatively peaceful sort, acting defensively should they meet an aggressive force. One such instant forced their hand into using an ancient superweapon to defend themselves. This weapon, while only having one shot and breaking shortly after, basically deleted a chunk of the galaxy big enough to be noticeable on the galaxy map. This event became known as the Great Tragedy, and the whole was simply dubbed the Weeping Void. For what can one do in the wake of such terrible destruction? As such, they have set aside a noticeably sized force called the Ebon Guard to ensure nothing goes in and nothing comes out. That was 7 millennia ago, and the race and empire as a whole have existed for far longer. How long is unknown, as records simply stop if you go back far enough. And then they have unique naming convention. The Seekers have a particular naming convention. Their names consist of cosmic phenomena, followed by a letter in the Greek alphabet, which denotes what type of Seeker they are, followed by a number signifying their standing within said type. Example, Crosshair Alpha 1. And then there's the... Should I read off the list of the name of the Greek names? Or should I just leave that be?
Don't think it's
Yeah.
super important. Just
Yeah,
know
we'll just
there's
leave
one
that
for every letter of the alphabet, Greek alphabet.
Greek alphabet, yeah. And that's pretty much all that is written on the robots.
So we can put up a poll for what we want to hear next. We got 38 more minutes.
I don't know how to set up a poll on Twitch. Metal Philosophy Planet, pretty much.
Apparently you just hit / poll. It can't be that easy.
It honestly can't be that easy. Oh! Got it.
Did it work?
I can make it.
Great.
Did you really believe it would be this easy? Points if you get that reference.
How do you spell your planet, Doc?
Queral. Queral.
Queral.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Alrighty. Start poll. Poll is up. You can now vote. Go. And now we wait. And if there are no votes on anything, I think at that point it would be prudent to end stream, but that depends.
Oh, it's looking like Conclave right now.
Oh.
Alright, pack a lunch because Sass has a lot of this shit.
Also, if there are any quantum physicists in chat right now, greetings. Be prepared for me to butcher quite a bit.
Alrighty, it is indeed the Conclave. So you're up, Sass.
Alright, well, so
Alright,
in the interest
pack a
of
lunch.
not making...
Pack a lunch, order takeout.
Give the Spark Notes version.
Yeah, get the SparkNotes version.
Okay, SparkNote version. Dragons that use quantum entanglement as their means of transportation. So, to do that, primarily what they are is it's a group of dragonoid creatures that includes kobolds, dragons themselves, and dragonborn. Very high in magic potential. They basically use magic to manipulate quantum events to perform their magic, i.e., for quantum mechanics. There's Murphy's Law, where it's saying anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Quantum mechanics basically says everything's happening all at once.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Great movie.
Yeah. But pretty much what it is just it is a race that has studied magic to the point where their faster than light travel quite literally is entangling two, basically condensing their ship down onto the quantum level to actually allow it to traverse great distances in an instant. By
If this
using
hurt
their
your
magic,
brain, join the club.
by using their magic, they're able to basically impose onto their ships a quantum superposition. So in reality, they're in two places at once. And once the waveform collapses, they can then collapse the waveform to transport themselves and their ship to another planet. It's like to another space in the galaxy. They are pacifists, first and foremost, because they've tried to be warlike in the past. It's like they've tried to be warlike in the past. They have a library dedicated to the species that they have fought and destroyed, conquered, or exterminated in a library. Please note that most of these species don't exist in what would be considered the normal universe. And some do exist in this universe that they have said that they have conquered, but are still around today.
Meat says, "Good God, a whole planet of reality warpers," and I'm just sitting here like, and they're technically not even the reality warpers.
No, they're hilarious enough. Most of what I've just explained is theoretical physics at this point. I mean, the more fantastical things like getting an entire space-worthy ship into a quantum superposition to allow it to travel faster than light via quantum entanglement. Yeah, that's not really something that could happen, but for a lot of the rest of it, in terms of the quantum, it's as best as I understand it.
They're everywhere. They need us because, again, we're referring to an RP server on our end.
Is that all for the shortened explanation?
Yeah, that would be all for the shortened explanation.
Okay, so new poll. What next?
Yep.
Let me pester Daku more. Case he can explain his own more if it comes up and I'm not butchering it. You do be purposely obstinate sometimes.
What to put for the final thing? Because I have 4 or 5.
Which 4 do you currently have?
I have the Republic, the Blazes, the Obsidians, and Coral.
Can either do the space whales or you can do British Catboys, or Reality Warper Planet.
I don't think I'm gonna put the Reality Warper Planet in because that's Ronin's.
Yeah, Ronin did a lot, and we don't have any reminders.
We have no
I don't think he wrote any down.
Yeah, he didn't write it down. It was a concept in his head, and it was just basically like bleh. And it looks like Neat is now in ads.
Oh, we love ads. Have some ads for free.
I'll do, honestly, I think I'll just keep it with the 4 for now. Because then that way we're actually, you know...
That works. I'm pretty sure Daku wrote down enough that I could adequately explain Dead Leviathan Planet.
I mean, I can put it in.
Up to you.
I'll put in, the Zulkar. So, 1, just to keep it 5, why not?
Right.
Start poll.
And we hope they're out of ads, and can actually vote in poll.
They should be able to be in the poll with ads. I think. Possibly.
Daku's actually able to hop in and explain the lore himself.
Yippee!
Okay. Vote for Daku's lore.
Alrighty. Well then, we will wait for Daku to arrive and he can tell him himself.
In the meantime, how do you be doing? Viewer? Friendly viewer? Do you have questions?
Questions, comments, concerns, cries for help?
Do you have questions about what questions you should have questions about?
Huh, I didn't know that we were being viewed by Zinch. That's another joke for Sass.
Do we want to go over a different lore while we wait for Daku to pop in?
Sure.
Alright, restart the poll. And the second Daku gets here, we will... Oh, never mind.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, your lore got voted on to be heard by Barneat, who is currently in stream chat. Very interactive.
Also, your profile picture is still Neffy, by the way.
Good to know.
Wait, you actually changed your profile picture!
Yay.
Yeah.
I thought you didn't do that! I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. Explain your lore.
So, one half is. Let me see it. I gotta pull it up in front of me to remember the names. One of them is a zealotous death cult called the Zulkar. They live on a planet orbiting a star that emits a electromagnetic, and psychic pulse. And this pulse wreaks havoc on navigational systems and will sometimes accidentally drag a ship out of faster than light travel and trap them in their solar system. But more important to them, it is a beacon that the spaceborne leviathans, the space whales, can feel when they are getting old and it's time for them to die. And so they will travel to this star and then quickly thereafter pass away. And so the Zulkar worship death as kind of life's only real gift. And so they worship the dead space whales and like turn their bodies into temples, and also use necromancy to sometimes turn them into warships.
Ah, yes.
As long as we don't have a brethren moon situation.
Space Bermuda Triangle.
No, because the undead creations don't have their own intelligence. But they are crazy enough to try. Like, if they got big enough, they'd probably try that. They
Also, your what was I had something a second ago and I already forgot it.
Oh no.
ADD is the worst.
Space Bermuda Triangle with cultist.
Yep. What was it? What was it? It was important. Oh yeah, we now have 2 water planets, right? So they could have whales on them. If someone from your planet saw these, would they be? They also have were whales on them, so there could be were sea space whales to your people.
Oh my goodness.
He's some kind of were sea space whale.
Sea space whale. It's a whale.
But yes, that is the brief overview of Solkar. Who? New poll next.
Unfortunately, I've got to get going and got to get some sleep for tomorrow.
Alrighty,
up
thank you
early.
for joining.
Alright.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah. Good night. We'll
Stream
talk to
goes
everybody
20
later.
more minutes though for viewers. Alright. So we got 20 minutes. New poll?
You, Paul.
What was that, link? Could you share the link with me again for the
Oh,
Discord?
Oh,
for the Discord stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it too.
I work on the poll, you share that, and tag team. Probably. And then Should I put space wheels on here just to keep it to the people in the call? Or no? I suppose that would be up to Doggy. No?
Like there's... I think we just go with 4.
Yeah, 4 this time. Alrighty.
Yeah. And we keep narrowing it down. So long as we have time to explain.
Yep. New poll is up. Your options are the Ankarian Republic, the Blazes, the Obsidians, or Quarrel.
Looks like Obsidian's got the vote.
Ooh, okay. Alrighty, Obsidians win, meaning I get to talk now. Luckily,
Oh no,
thing-
the person who's running the stream has to actually talk.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So, the Obsidians are basically the, manifestation of evil in this galaxy. It is a dictatorship, that is also very militant. It is ruled by Devil, who is ruthless and cunning, a monster in every sense of the word, feared by Obsidians and Blazes alike. And quite literally every devil there has ever been has been wanting more power, having greed, and hatred for the Blazes, but outside of that, no two are the same. The military is very chaotic, but held in line by fear of Devil. They are the most destructive military in the Zagritha galaxy, ranging from spies, demolitionists, heavy gunners, snipers, frontline fighters. No matter their specialty, they are well trained, and this part will be, and the part that I have there is changing to make it a bit more nuanced. Before it used to be they don't believe in taking prisoners, but since now they rule through a lot of fear and everything that they conquer has to eventually have like a slave kind of thing, they take people alive now. So, there's that. Because we talked about
Also,
that in the last stream.
this is the Spark Notes version, right? You're not just reading off
Yeah,
the whole thing?
yeah, I'm spark-nosing it.
Alright.
They live in the Void Realm on Obios, which is a barren planet. They have dark powers used for deception, desecration, destruction, etc., etc. They can make thralls of
Other
people.
D words.
Other D words, yes. They can make thralls of those who don't have certain powers, but they can also turn other people into obsidians with their powers, so long as they have the blaze powers as well. And yeah, that's basically the Obsidians. It's very quick, because again, I don't have a whole... Out of the Blazes and the Obsidians, I have much more to spark notes for the Blazes than I do for the Obsidians.
Alright. So, next poll, 3 options. We probably only have, like... I don't even know if we would have enough time to explain the entirety of the Blazes, even the Spark Notes version. So it's probably just down to Karin and Quarrel if you want to see everything.
Yeah, let's save the Blazes for a later time.
Just correct it. It's Icaria. Not
Ikarian.
just to be that guy.
No, that's
Or just be
fine.
trademark all rights reserved.
Alright, so it's down to 2 instead of 3. Starting bowl! You have 2 options. The Republic or Quero. You have fried eggplant instead of popcorn? Nice. Oh!
Alright. We'll wait for the poll to run out, but I saw where the vote went.
Yep.
Alright, so Quirrell, long ago used to be a typical high fantasy planet. Gods, magic, wizards, knights, princesses in towers, wizards in towers, a whole lot of towers.
Dragons on towers.
Yeah, dragons on towers, castles that have their own towers, lots of high fantasy. With one very, notable, thing that happened there. Magic in this world, both the ambient and natural magic of the planet, kinda took on a living form. It was immortal, because it's kinda difficult to kill the concept of magic. And it embodied both, like, the druid stuff, and the arcane stuff. So it was a living, breathing embodiment of magic. And now one day, in this high fantasy setting, known as, it was originally Crimson Skin, but I wanna just call it the Day of Red Death, because we don't get enough Edgar Allan Poe references up in this place. So it's now
do
the
appreciate
Day
the
of Red
reference.
Death. Everything suddenly, kinda died. A lot of things died, and a lot of things, suddenly their skin turned red. This is because, this is what's known as the start of radiation hitting the planet. However, technically, this was done 24 hours prior. The day prior, a group of heroes went on a quest. They had been on this quest for a while, to link up the planet of Quero with the rest of the known galaxy. You see, Quero had an especially strong electromagnetic field around it, which, as most people know, will protect you from cosmic radiation. It's the main thing that planets have that protect them from radiation. 'Cause, like, if you didn't know, space has a ton of radiation in it. Like black holes emit radiation, tons of stuff emits radiation. And this planet had an especially strong EM field that protected them. But some misguided heroes, decided to take that down because the same thing that was protecting them also prevented them from communicating or even linking up with the rest of the galaxy. So they decided to take down the somewhat scientific, somewhat magic barrier that was protecting them from cosmic radiation. And then a day later, everything got absolutely bombarded and a lot of things died, and the things that didn't die, like, for instance, the concept of magic on the planet that has a living form, the living embodiment of it, mutated horribly. So now it's a nightmare world where a bunch of people, the descendants of the heroes that escaped, now live in basically floating colonies right above the planet and do weird experimental mutation shit on the what little life remains in the planet. Everything's mutated, everything's horrible. There's just tons of things with numbers of extremities, eyes, skin they shouldn't have. It's fun times for all. And everything is extremely weird there because magic's extremely weird there.
And also just like every cancer.
Yep.
Known and unknown to man.
Yep. You got super cancer, I'm sorry.
You've got ass cancer.
Yep.
Dated YouTube references.
So that's the brief rundown. Mers, do you think you can explain Ikarian Republic in the next 7 minutes?
Yeah. I can.
Okay.
Go for it.
And summarize it in one sentence. Fire Roman Republic in space. To go a bit deeper than that, the world of Ikaria is a very dangerous volcanic planet. Even with Ikaria being generally more open to outsiders than some, most are not allowed onto the planet's surface. Mostly it's space stations, colonies, or the planet's moons, because just the actual planet of Ikaria is just that inhospitable. Originally, there were several city-states and tribes turned city-states, turned, independent civilizations that called Ikaria home. However, one year, two brothers rallied their own armies and united the planet under their banner. These two brothers ruled as kings, the only two kings in Ikaria's history. And when they died, when they died without heirs, the Senate, which had already existed as advisors to the kings, became the governing body. They eventually developed space travel on their own and used it to colonize their moons until they had the aforementioned two wars with the dictatorship. Sorry, mouth, brain not cooperating. They have two consuls who currently lead. Their main export is soldiers, especially their navy, because they're very good shipbuilders. And also, they are completely magically inert. They have no access, as a race, they have no access to magic whatsoever. and compensate for it by technology and skill, basically. They are aligned to the Blazes, and one of their current ruling consuls is Cornelio Vadius, a former legatoi or general who led them to victory in the Second War.
Yay!
And as mentioned, they are basically fire genasi for the D&D comparison.
But are just called, Icarians.
Icarians.
Yay.
Yeah.
And yeah, there you go. There's kind of a rough idea of what we kind of already have that we feel like we could adeptly explain. Because we have a lot of stuff already made, and we ain't done yet.
Yep. I could go way more in depth if I had to, but we're burning nightlight here.
Yeah.
I apologize. Neat seemed to have, stopped talking about halfway through my explanation, so.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes that happens. And it's fine. I also got papaya'd in the middle of Dan's explanation, and I'm just like, no. But yes.
Alright.
Alrighty.
Can wait the other 2 minutes to see if chat has anything else to say, but I think we're about done for the night. Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Yeah.
Yay!
You were only here for a little bit, but thank you for that, Daku.
Yay!
Neat. He played a screamer and it scared the living shit out of me. Ow, my throat.
Not my throat! I need that for swallowing! That's a reference that's just for me. Granted, most of my references are just for me, but...
Yay!
Alright. 5 seconds. Have a nice night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
I'm gonna head off.
Alright.
Because I am tired.
Go slip. I will still be... I have to make sure that I send my people off into a raid.
Yep.
So you guys can... You guys are released. You may go.
Have
Bye.
a nice night.
Bye. Have a good night.
Good night.
There they go. Yeah. Thanks for the stories. Of course. Of course. It's the least we could do. Did I get muted? No, it's just my things not lining up. That's weird. But I'm very happy that you enjoyed the stories. We enjoy talking about this. It's very, very fun. Alrighty. So... let me see here. Oh, you're released. Get. Yeah, pretty much. There's the raid message. We are going to raid we're gonna raid the Sherb, who's currently playing some Dark Pictures anthology, House of Ashes. But thank you guys so much for coming by. It does mean a lot. I'm glad you seem to enjoy all the stories that we've told so far. It's wonderful. But yes, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later on this week.